Hello again, everybody. Dr. Glenn with Infinite Wellness. One more of our question and answer series. So a little more information for you today. Please don't forget to like our videos. Please subscribe and tell your friends. We'd love to share.
All right, so the question today says, I've had vertigo for years. I'm tired of medications. Can chiropractic care help?
Okay, well, that's a really great question. Vertigo can come from many different things. So diagnosis here is key. Chiropractors, most of us are good at diagnosing certain types of vertigo and where it comes from. Often vertigo can come from inner ear complications. It can come from poor drainage, lack of ability of the ears to drain outward. It can be benign positional vertigo where the body's gyroscopic mechanics, I'll talk about that in a minute, have become altered. Or it can be issues where there's traumatic injury, such as a brain injury or something to the vestibular cochlear portion of the body and the brain that causes that. Obviously, with a brain injury, chiropractic probably isn't going to make a big difference. But with most of the rest of those different types of vertigo, it can, especially if it's involved in drainage. Lymphatic drainage throughout the neck oftentimes becomes problematic. People who have chronic ear infections know this. Their ears don't drain well into the interior lymphatics, and just plain old chiropractic adjustments to the neck, allowing for more drainage and muscle and tissue work right through the lymphatics, will help to help the ears drain. A lot of people also don't realize that if there's drainage and backup and compression and creating some of that dizziness due to the imbalance of fluid in the ears, that even the ears can be adjusted. So there's lots of things there that can benefit in our field. I won't say chiropractic directly. Again, if there's compression in the structures and the tissues of the back of the neck, then chiropractic obviously is a great benefit, because adjustments to the cervical spine or the neck can really alleviate some of that compression, that pressure, and that helps with a great deal of the muscle tension that occurs in the back of the neck or up into the sides of the neck where the skull meets. Again, with drainage, chiropractic does help that a little, but that's more tissue work with anterior lymphatic drainage, little adjustments to the ear for pressure. Benign positional vertigo, which is a condition where a certain position creates the vertigo or the spinning, i.e. I lie on my right side, I get up and the room spins. I lie on my left side, I get up, not so bad or not at all. Or vice versa. If it seems to be one-sided or unilateral, then oftentimes if it's position change creating the vertigo and then it goes away after you've sat normalized, we're looking at a condition called BPV, or benign positional vertigo. Chiropractic directly is still good to adjust the neck and create some lower tension, but oftentimes the reason for BPV is the ears have a very intricate canal system and they're fluid filled. And much like a gyroscope that rotates in clockwise as we move, as long as it does this in succession, same on both sides, technically the ears don't rotate obviously, but within the fluid there are small, we'll call them a seed, that rotates. As long as it rotates with each side with one another, we don't get vertigo. But sometimes a slip and a fall, a poor sleeping position overnight, sometimes we're not even sure where it comes from, we get a variance of that. And then the little seed that is in there, one will be one direction, one will be the other. And much like a gyroscope, instead of rotating together, creating balance, they will counter rotate. One goes one way while the other goes the other. And until they reach their final destination, our room is spinning. And in every person that may be slower or faster, depends on age, depends on the fluid in the ears, how viscous it is, everything that makes it dependent. But it will, once we are upright, subside. But benign positional vertigo can be fixed as well. Often it is well managed with a maneuver known as Epley's maneuver. We can look this up online. I might be able to post a link to this. But Epley's maneuver is a maneuver that a person can do on a regular basis over a matter of a couple of days to help those crystals, inner ear crystals, realign so that the gyroscope goes back to its normal rotation like it's supposed to and isn't all over the place when we get up from one side or the other, whichever side is creating our vertigo. And those maneuvers are based off of which side you experience that on. So another way to kind of, help with that. But chiropractors know a lot about those kinds of things, and there are some things we can do, especially if it's lymphatic drainage, fluid problems, backups into the ear infections, chronic ear infections, and things of that nature to allow the neck to drain better, the head and neck to drain better down to the thorax and or lymphatic system and rid that from our body. So chiropractic has some wonderful benefits that way, and most of us know quite a bit about it, and certainly worth talking to us. I've done a little bit of work in acupuncture as well, depending on the person's condition. If it does seem to be more traumatic or more on that brain injury side, if it seems to be coming from a viral problem, maybe long COVID, certain things there in acupuncture may be beneficial as well. But chiropractic generally for balance of most of the system is probably the most common. So yeah.
Is there anything that someone could take for vertigo, or is it really just a structural thing that needs to be healed?
Predominantly, it seems to be structural. There are medications that will lessen how bad vertigo affects you or how bad it feels. There are certain things you could do to try to limit it down, but truly we want to get to the root of the problem. And oftentimes that's mostly a structural issue, so we need to figure out what is creating the structural problem. Again, injury or fluid buildups or positional issues within the inner ear, infections. There are so many things. And so really diagnosis comes down to that. Most chiropractors are pretty good at diagnosing all these things and trying to find out with a good history and some things from the patient as to what we're really dealing with. And at that point, I dare say probably more than half is structural issue.